All right, welcome back into the Double Coverage Podcast. Dylan Mel, joined by my co-host JaVon. Mid-season awards. We're late on this. We should have done this between week 8 and 9. We were going to do it between weeks 9 and 10, and then we had the craziest trade deadline that I can remember in a long time. We had to talk about that. So we are here with a little bit late, a little bit delayed, but mid-season awards. Let's start with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I have Emeka Egbuka. JaVon, do you also have Emeka Egbuka?
Yeah, I do. I actually do.
Yeah, I thought we would agree on this. Some quick stats for Egbuka as to why we're picking him. In 9 games, he has 677 yards, 6 touchdowns, and that is good enough for 9th in the NFL right now in receiving yards. And some of those guys above him, he's played 1 less game than them. So it's very possible that Egbuka, especially with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin with no timetable for returns, Bucky Irving out, in his rookie season, Emeka Egbuka could easily finish inside the top 5 receiving yards in the NFL. Ohio State wide receivers, they seem like just a cheat code at this point in time. He goes to Tampa. When Tampa drafted him, everybody was kind of like, why is Tampa drafting a wide receiver? They don't need a wide receiver. And now with the way that this season has played out, thank God they drafted Emeka Egbuka, man, because I don't know if there would be a more wide receiver needy team. I mean, they're kind of needy as it is, if we're being honest. But Emeka Egbuka, to me, he's just a pure route runner, man. He's rookie JSN.
Basically.
He could just do it all, man. Deadly from the slot, deadly on the outside, crisp route running, great hands, has a nose for the end zone, man. To be a rookie scoring 6 touchdowns already is actually insane.
Yeah, man. And without him right now, who knows where that offense would be, because Bucky Irving out. They don't got a run game to lean on because Sean Tucker and Rachaad White haven't, been going crazy as everyone thought they would when Bucky Irving went down. And then no one expected Mike Evans to have the injury that he has. And then we all know about Godwin too.
Yeah.
But besides Egbuka, man, who they got? Sterling Shepard, their second best receiver is
Tez Johnson. I mean, I like Tez.
Tez has came along. Okay.
Yeah. Another rookie there, though. Yeah. And again, I think, like you mentioned, without Egbuka, I don't. I mean, listen, Atlanta's been so bad that I don't want to say that Tampa wouldn't be winning this division. Maybe Carolina would be sniffing them a little bit closer. I mean, Carolina isn't as far back as it is, but without Egbuka, there would be just limited options there. And for Emeka Egbuka to be producing at this level in his rookie season, this guy, I think, in 2 years' time, is going to be in top 5 wide receiver in the NFL conversations.
Yeah, he should, especially with Baker throwing him the ball. If Baker can just do what he's doing, and they could draft, another receiver, hopefully, because who knows how Godwin is going to come along and end the season.
And Evans.
Yeah, and Evans as well.
Maybe they just put a lot of faith in Tez Johnson going forward, but Emeka Egbuka is our offensive rookie of the year. No real disagreement there. So we're going to move on to the defensive rookie of the year. I have Browns linebacker Carson Schlesinger. Do you also have Schlesinger, or do you have someone else?
I have someone else, but that is a good pick. I will say that.
Schlesinger, in 9 games for the Browns defense, recorded 74 tackles so far, has 1.5 sacks, and they are the second best defense in terms of yards per game, and he is in the middle of that. You remember when they first drafted him in that second round, they had Jordan Hicks, they had JOK, and it was kind of like, where's this guy going to fit in? Both of those guys got hurt and were out for the season. So in his rookie year, in a spot where we didn't think, is how much playing time is he going to get? He had to directly just be the guy holding down the middle of that Browns defense. And I get it. It's the Cleveland Browns, and not everybody wants to talk about them. And when they do want to talk about them, they want to talk about Myles Garrett. And I respect that. But Schlesinger, man, he has had to come into that defense and be the centerpiece, and he has done it pretty well. I would say for a rookie, he is top 20 in the NFL in tackles right now. He's just really producing. And when you take a step back and look at the Browns, I feel like we've said this a lot of times. They're like a quarterback and another receiver away, man, from being competitive.
Hey, man, you almost talked me into switching my pick. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I watched him play a couple of games. You want to talk about a day one starter? He would be starting on at least 75% of NFL teams right now. And he wasn't even supposed to be starting on his own team to start the season, like you said. And honestly, Like, I think in the next year or two, he could be all pro. Like, he has a
I
nose
think
for the
he's really
ball.
solid in coverage, a good tackler in the run game. Like he is a do-it-all linebacker in year one.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of scary because you got him and Myles Garrett, and they're gonna have a top 5 pick this
Denzel
upcoming
Ward,
draft. Yeah, and Denzel Ward. Imagine if they go get a guy like Caleb Downs to seal the deal or whatever. That would be a scary, very scary defense. But honestly,
absolutely.
man, that
Already is. They're
you
number
almost
2 in the NFL in yards allowed per game.
yeah, I mean, you almost talked me into switching my pick, but my my pick, I'm gonna go with Nick Emenwari because of the impact that he's had on the defense. Nobody, first of all, not only on offense but defense as well. No one expected Seattle to be this good at all, and I think the fact that their defense is so good is a product of Nick Emenwari's play, 100%. Now, the reason why what's how you say his name? Swessinger?
Schlesinger.
Yeah, I'll never get that name right. I ain't gonna lie. But the reason why Carson, this play is going under the radar so much is because he's on the Browns or whatever. They're not winning games. But anyone who watches the Browns play knows that he's one of the best players on their team already. But I think Nick's impact, I think this season is kind of weird, man, because usually Offensive Rookie of the Year is a quarterback award. And, everybody thought Abdul Carter for defense was going to get the award as well because, pass rushers typically get this award as well. But I feel like the fact that you got Carson and I got Nick Emenwari, this is not Abdul Carter. This isn't Jahad Campbell. This isn't the people we were expecting to win the award at all. And honestly, this season's just all types of weird, bro. Like, if you just look at everything.
I mean, I thought, and we did it, in our preview, we talked about the top 10 defenses. I had Seattle in there. I thought Seattle would be a good defensive unit, but Emenwari's come in and been an absolute game changer for them. Mike McDonald hit that pick out of the park. That was a home run level pick. Emenwari's got amazing size and speed for the safety position, so we knew like the athleticism and the intangibles were there, but 6 pass deflections already this season. Like, everybody on Seattle's defense is firing on all cylinders, but this kid, a rookie second-round pick, 6'3", 220 pounds, is just an absolute wrecker. And I don't want to go this far, but we saw Mike McDonald have that defense in Baltimore firing, and we saw Kyle Hamilton get to his peak level. I'm not saying Emenwari is going to be Kyle Hamilton this year, but I could see a world, man, where there's some Pro Bowls, all pros in the future. I could.
I mean, he's a better athlete than Kyle Hamilton. He had one of the best combines I've ever seen.
Yeah.
From someone that size, especially. So that would not surprise me either.
No, it absolutely wouldn't. Moving on, Coach of the Year. My Coach of the Year is Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 8-2 right now, which nobody besides you thought that was coming. They're competing for the number 1 seed, which again, I think nobody, but I didn't hear that take from anybody but you at least. And these are 2 massive things that stick out to me about Vrabel. They're 2-0 in the division with one of those wins coming against Buffalo. They are 5-0 on the road this year. The man came in and completely shifted the culture of that team, and it shows. I think divisional games and road games are where you find out what your culture is made of and what your coaching staff is made of. And this performance from Mike Vrabel, when we all know that the offensive line, not its best, the defense, good, but we know that they could add talent. They could have added an edge rusher. They still could get an edge rusher. The linebacker play could be hit or miss. They moved off of Kyle Duggar. They moved off of Jabril Peppers, guys that have been in the building, and they're still performing at a high level. But I think it's safe to say that this isn't the final product of this Patriots team. I think that they still do want to get better. They don't have a true wide receiver 1. Kayshon Boutte's nice. Stephon Diggs plays 50% of the snaps. The run game has been hit or miss all year. And I think Drake Maye deserves a ton of credit as well. But I'm going to give Coach of the Year to Mike Vrabel because the turnaround here to come in and take a team that just had the number 4 overall pick in the draft to get Will Campbell, and then the year before that had the number 3 pick in the draft to get Drake Maye. And now, to be honest, I think they're the best team in the AFC as of today.
Yeah, and their schedule is easy pickings from here on out.
But we saw it against Buffalo, and we've seen it
Yeah.
against Tampa. The Tampa game was huge to me. And I believe that they beat Tampa because of Vrabel's coaching. That end of the first half where they could have tried to score and Tampa could have gotten the ball back. They didn't call it a kneel down, but that QB sneak, it didn't look to me like Drake Maye was trying to get in the end zone, man. It looked like Drake Maye was trying to get 40 seconds off that clock. And then credit to the offensive coordinator and the play calling as well. But to go for it on 4th and goal from 1-2 yards away instead of just tying up the game 10-10, getting your best play, Maye to Diggs, and having faith in your guys to connect on it, I do think that's where a little bit of being a former player really helps him out as a coach, because he has a great feel for the game and knows that something like that going into halftime could be a real strong momentum builder for your team. And I think Vrabel, I mean, listen, this is a guy who was a 1 seed in the AFC when Tom Brady was still there with Ryan Tannehill. Put some respect on his name. Mike Vrabel.
Hey, man, I was 50-50, honestly, and I feel like Vrabel is like the easiest pick to go with here, but I was expecting the Patriots to kind of be this good already. I was not expecting the Indianapolis Colts to be this good.
Steichen was my other choice as well.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure people thought that the Patriots were going to be competitive, maybe not win 10 games, but they would be really competitive in a good amount of their games. And don't get me wrong, Vrabel has came in and changed the entire culture of that team. If he can just learn how to give TreVeyon Henderson the ball a little bit more, I would love him.
I mean, it was just this week I felt like so vindicated, because like we've been doing it in my solo videos, I've been doing it, I've just been hammering down that the Patriots have and Kyle Williams too, man, 72-yard touchdown. Like, they have explosive playmakers on their roster, and it's my one knock on Vrabel, and I think it's because he's a former player as well. I think he's a little veteran heavy.
Yeah,
sometimes.
He's old school too, I feel like.
And it's just like, no, you just drafted these guys to be difference makers. Play them.
Hey,
you're choosing to play Ramondre Stevenson and Matt Collins. It's not even like it's amazing guy. And Matt Collins, to his credit, had a good game versus Tampa, but it's like you're not even picking like well-established good players. Like Ramondre Stevenson got benched last year for Antonio Gibson because of fumbling the ball. Like, why are you picking him?
Hey, this is a little bit off topic, bro. I traded Brock Bowers for freaking Henderson after week 3. When Brock Bowers, or whatever week he got hurt, I traded him away because I had him and then I had Trey McBride as well. So I'm like, man, forget this. I'm trading with Brock Bowers, and freaking Henderson had just been stashed away. But so I'm gonna go with Shane Steichen for my coach of the year. I mean, I feel like what he's done is damn near unprecedented, bro, because the talk of the Indianapolis Colts this offseason was, who's the starting quarterback going to be? To go from Anthony Richardson versus Daniel Jones to freaking 7-2 with Daniel Jones.
Well, then it was, who are they going to draft as well?
It's incredible. Like, for real, how do you go from having a controversy between 2 starting quarterbacks to 7-2 with the quarterback you pick?
8-2 now.
Yeah, or 8-2. He needs props for picking the right quarterback, because anyone could have fallen under that pressure to just start Richardson. He needs props for picking the quarterback, and he needs props for maximizing. We didn't even see Dayball get this good production out of
I think
Jones.
What Steichen's doing with Daniel Jones is also part of the reason Dayball got fired, by the way. I think like Shane Steichen is so good at coaching that the Giants fired Brian Dayball to an extent.
And I get it, the Giants and the Colts definitely have a little bit more structure. The Colts have always been competitive, even when they had Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan as their quarterback. They've still been competitive. But man, you got Jonathan Taylor, who's an MVP candidate. You got Daniel Jones, who's playing like, I don't know, a top 10 quarterback this year. The stats show it kind of.
Yeah, he's having a top 10 season for sure. Like he's I don't think either of us are going to bring him up today, but Daniel Jones is also in MVP conversation. It feels pretty similar to me to a couple years ago when the 49ers, Purdy and CMC were both in MVP conversation. I would have leaned CMC, but like as the MVP of the team, but both guys were kind of top 10 in the odds and top 10 in voting. I could easily see that being the case, especially if the Colts finish out the season as the number 1 seed. I talked about Vrabel as my coach of the year. Steichen is the number 1 seed in the same conference as Vrabel. And Steichen's an offensive minded head coach. Loved him in Philly. Obviously, I think the offense never looked better than when Steichen was there in 2022. I think that offense was even better than last year's offense to an extent in terms of passing. You look at the Colts, they're first in the NFL right now in yards per game, 369 as a team. They are fourth in the NFL right now in passing yards per game at 251. They are third in the NFL right now in rushing yards per game at 145.3, and they are first in the NFL at 32.1 points per game. Dang. Steichen is an offensive-minded head coach, and in any category, any way you cut it, they are a top 5 offensive team. They have the best point differential in the entire NFL. Their road record 2-2, so I don't love that, but 2-0 in the division, 6-1 in the conference. Steichen's a great choice. Absolutely.
Bruh, it's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Nobody was expecting this. Like, I kind of predicted the Patriots. I didn't expect people had the Colts. I've seen people have the Colts finish the last in that division, and the fact that you go from that, and
I think I had them third.
Yeah, you go from that and the quarterback controversy to now people saying you can afford to go all in and trade for Sauce Gardner because you believe your team can win now. That is a drastic.
I'll tell you what. Because the Colts are on bye in week 11, but if in week 12 the Chiefs beat the Broncos in week 11 and then the Colts beat the Chiefs in week 12, hey man, I mean that's something. The 3 big ones. Start with Defensive Player of the Year. I went back and forth on a couple guys. I think that there's one choice that to some seems obvious that I'm not going to go with. Maybe you're going to go with them. I'm going Brian Burns as my Defensive Player of the Year. And so here is the one argument against Burns, and I'll just get it out of the way. The Giants' team defense hasn't been very good. And typically, I do think that eliminates you from winning the award a lot of times. But I also think that, we've seen Myles Garrett win Defensive Player of the Year over TJ Watt because of that same reason, and I don't agree with it. I think that it should go to the best defensive player because – a lot of people treat it like defensive MVP, which in some instances I get. However, when we consider the fact that MVP is typically a quarterback award and quarterbacks have a lot of control over the team, there's just not one defensive player that's going to impact winning as much as any quarterback. It's just never going to happen. So I'm going Burns because every time I've watched this guy play, he jumps off the TV to me. And I think there's numbers that he's putting up that are better than Myles Garrett, who maybe will be yours, maybe it won't be, but I think that that's kind of like the biggest argument point that people will use.
Yeah.
Brian Burns is tied with Myles Garrett right now. Both guys have 11 sacks. Brian Burns has 15 tackles for loss. Myles Garrett has 17. But Brian Burns has 6 pass deflections, man. And this was the argument that I used for TJ Watt over Myles Garrett a couple of years ago. So it's the same argument that I'm going to use for Brian Burns. Both guys are deadly in the pass rush. Both guys can blow up run plays, can blow up pass plays, and put an end to it. But in terms of the flexibility as a coverage guy as well, and what he could do to disrupt the pass game when not pressuring the quarterback, Brian Burns is producing at an elite level, man. And I've been saying it, that I think he's one of the more underrated defensive players in football. When the Giants traded for him as an Eagles fan, I hated it. And I think he deserves some level of flowers, and maybe some of it's voter fatigue. And I don't know if that's like playing a role to me, but I'm going Brian Burns over Myles Garrett.
I would not have. You could have gave me 10 guesses. I don't think
I checked like the odds on FanDuel before all of this just to kind of see what some of the betting odds were. And Brian Burns has the 8th best odds. There are 7 guys with better odds to win Defensive Player of the Year over him. So I don't think he's going to win it, but he is my personal pick.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's an out there pick, but
I mean, it is out there, and there's a lot of season left too. But I mean, I think Myles Garrett is the correct answer.
Listen, if Myles Garrett wins, I'm not going to be up in
Yeah.
arms about it. I would just go Burns personally.
Yeah, and the first month of the season, I thought Benito was gonna get it. Like the first month of the season, dude, he was on a tear.
I mean,
And
he's still on a tear, but it's
yeah,
now kind of been the whole line, not just
yeah,
Benito.
yeah, they're helping him out. They're helping him out now, and they've kind of had to, considering the quarterback play that they've gotten. I think you had Will Anderson Jr. winning it, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
who I predicted winning it, and I still
Yeah,
think there's a shot at that too. I wouldn't give it to him at midseason, but the bet that I have on him, I'm not cashing out of because I do think Houston's the best defense in the league, and I think it's possible he explodes over the second half of the year.
yeah. If you would ask me after the first month of the season, my answer would have been Nick Benito, but I mean, now I gotta go with Myles Garrett, man. He's just he's kind of unstoppable. And that defense, like you said, is a very good defense, and they just need some good offensive play, and they will be really competitive. But
Yeah. I
you
mean,
gotta
listen, I
enjoy.
think Myles Garrett's the best defensive player in the world.
Yeah,
I
I
would
mean,
just reward Brian Burns' season. But again, the big argument that I think people will have, and I get it, it's a valid argument, is where do the team defenses rank? Because if Burns is so
yeah,
valuable, why are the Giants not having a great defensive year? And I kind of presented my argument for that, but in Myles Garrett's favor, the Browns have the second best defense in the NFL right now in terms of yards allowed per game. And Myles Garrett is the anchor of that defense. So if you want to reward him for being the best defensive player, being tied for the most sacks, and his defense being a top 5 unit, I can't argue much with it. So to
yeah.
anybody that's
To be
like in the
honest,
comment section that's like pissed I didn't pick Myles Garrett, if Myles Garrett wins or if you pick Myles Garrett, I'm not going to really argue with you. Like, yeah, he's a good choice, man. It's Myles freaking Garrett. Like,
yeah, it was like a couple of years. It was TJ versus Miles. Like, if you went with Miles, it was whatever. I was gonna go
yeah,
with TJ no matter what, because I
yeah,
actually genuinely in my heart, I thought he
I
was
do
better.
too. I
Yeah,
thought it was a
he's
couple of
not
years
no
ago.
more.
It was a couple of years ago that Miles wanted over
Yeah,
TJ that I thought it should have gone to TJ, but I don't want to come across like a Miles Garrett hater right now because it's kind of the only thing that the Browns got going for them, and I'm gonna let them have Miles Garrett. Hey, sorry to interrupt the video. I hope you were enjoying. I just wanted to take a moment to ask you to hit the like button and the subscribe button as we are looking to grow this channel. I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Let's hop back into the video. Offensive player of the year. I'd imagine we're gonna have the same pick here, but maybe not. I'm going Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor in 10 games this year has 1,139 rushing yards, 17 total touchdowns, and 5 games with 3 or more touchdowns, tying LaDainian Tomlinson's record. He is at 17 touchdowns. LT's record is 31 touchdowns. So some quick math here. They're on a bye next week. He would have to average 2 a game to tie the record. So could he do
damn.
it? He could
Oh
do
yeah,
it.
that's
Nobody has come within even like 5 of this record since LT said it. So, if JT breaks the
that's
touchdown record and the
crazy.
Colts are the 1 seed, I think you've got a real case for him to be MVP. I just for me, the fact, and again, it's not like just because I'm an Eagles fan, but there's some like bias there, I guess. Saquon didn't get it last year. It just feels to me like a running back can't get the award. And if JT tied the record, he'd probably be my MVP because again,
For real. Hey, for real.
Saquon was last year, but at the midway point of the season when he hasn't set records, offensive player of the year is where I'm going to give Jonathan Taylor.
Bruh, he's having a crazy. He's a what back to
Is he
back.
also your OPOY?
Yeah, he is,
Okay.
and it's really a two-man race right now between him and JSN. And
Mhm.
JSN, man, I mean, I don't know
But
what more he could
JT
do.
JT's on a bye this week, and JSN gets to play in a very big game. I think he could make it closer.
Yeah, I mean, JSN, I don't know what really more he could do, especially they got Shaheed now. So that's you got to think that's going to take some of his targets. But earlier in the year, man, like this race is kind of. I know JT has taken off with it, but bro, to start the season, you have Puka going crazy,
Yeah.
Bijan, and then McCaffrey was like the team's leading receiver.
I
Like
mean,
it's
I still think
crazy,
it's possible McCaffrey could win this award, man, because
bro.
what he's doing rushing and
For real.
receiving, if they start getting hot in the second half of the year, I don't think it's going to happen, but he's not dead for the award. It's just Jonathan Taylor is just having such a freaking year, man.
Yeah, I mean, Puka got hurt. Bijan, he's just falling off a cliff, kind of. He hasn't really been putting up the touchdowns. They've been giving it to Algier in the red zone.
Yeah.
But, I mean, CMC, Man, he can make some noise in these last few weeks. I know he needed to kind of go crazy against the Rams this past Sunday, and that might have made it a little closer, and they kind of got stomped in the ground. But man,
I think it also helps Jonathan Taylor that he's the clear-cut offensive engine for the best offense in the NFL. Like,
yeah,
statistically, the Colts have been the best offense in the NFL, and he is the reason behind that. We kind of did the Purdy CMC comp earlier to Daniel Jones JT, but I think even more people are on JT being the engine than were CMC for those 49ers teams. The guy is just an unreal beast. I think he had like 35 plus touches this past week. He ran for over 250 yards versus Atlanta and Berlin. Like the man had an absolute show. The Big Daddy, the big award, the MVP of the league. There's a couple names. JT could obviously qualify for this award. I'm not going to take that away from him. I'm looking at the betting odds now. We have 6 guys that are under 10-1 odds. So it still could go a lot of different directions. If we had done this 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure my pick would have been my pick. But I am going to go with Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matt Stafford. Did you go with Stafford or did you pick someone else?
Yeah, I got Stafford too.
Okay, before we talk about Stafford, I want to talk about some of the other candidates just really quickly. Sam Darnold is 9-1. I think that that's not a bad bet because Darnold's stats this year are very impressive, right? I'm just going to pull them up here because I didn't write them down because I didn't pick them. Sam Darnold this year is 7th in the NFL in passing yards with 2,262 through 9 games. He averages over 250 passing yards a game. He has 17 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. I think the interceptions are a little high and could actually be the reason he doesn't win it eventually. And a 116.5 passer rating on the season, which I believe is Goff has a little bit higher, but Darnold of the guys that are up there is 2nd in the NFL in passing yards. And if Seattle beats the Rams when they play them and ends up with a 1 seed, Darnold is absolutely viable for that award. Next, 5th best odds, we have Josh Allen at 7-1. Hate this bet. Hate this bet. I think Josh has had a bad year. He's behind Mac Jones in terms of passing yards right now. And 15 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He's turned the ball over a lot. They've lost games to teams like the Falcons and the Dolphins. And I honestly think it's more likely that they miss the playoffs than Josh Allen wins MVP. Just throwing that out there. We have Patrick Mahomes. The record's not good enough yet, but if the Chiefs stormed back, man, and they have opportunities against Denver and the Colts back-to-back, Mahomes at 6-1. If you think the Chiefs are going to win those 2 games, I kind of like the bet. He's 5th in the NFL in passing yards, 17 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He's had to run a lot more this year, so the rushing stats are going to be pretty nice for him because of that beginning of the season, and he's the best player on the planet. I still think he's the best player on the planet.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Jonathan Taylor. We talked about him already at length. And then the top 2 guys, both at plus 300, are Drake Maye and Matthew Stafford. Now, we both went with Matthew Stafford. Stafford, in 9 games this year, has 2,427 passing yards. That's 269.7 per game. That's 2nd to only Brock Purdy, who hasn't played a ton. So Matthew Stafford is number 1 in the NFL in passing yards per game. He's just played 1 less game than the 3 guys above him. Matthew Stafford this year has 25 passing touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. I say that 3-1 is a 3-1 touchdown to interception ratio is great. 4-1 is elite. This man is at 13-1.
Aaron Rodgers type MVP.
He's just playing great ball, a 114.8 passer rating. And he has led the Rams to being a top 5 offense in terms of yards per game and points per game. And for my money right now, and this isn't just about Stafford, but right now they're the best team in football. So you're the quarterback with the best team in football with the obviously in the amount of games that they've played, they haven't played 10 games, so they're not 8-2, but they 7-2. They could easily be a 1 seed. Big matchup versus Seattle that I cannot wait to watch.
Yeah.
But Stafford, it's so crazy, man, because you remember coming into the year, It was the back problems. We don't even know if this guy could stand. I mean, that was the reporting. And now
Yeah.
he's 37 years old, and I think he's having the best season of his career.
Yeah.
And listen, Drake Maye isn't a bad choice by any means. Drake Maye in 10 games. So one additional game from Stafford is 2,555 yards, averaging 255 a game, 19 touchdowns to 5 picks, a 113.9 passer rating. And he's definitely doing more with less, right? If you were to take it as just like the generic valuable, Drake Maye might be more valuable to his team than anybody right now when you consider what the Patriots are working with. But I'm going Stafford. You're going Stafford, you said.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. The Patriots are not a bad team, bro. Like, I don't think Drake Maye's he's good. He's playing
my thing
well.
is his offensive line is what I'm really like. The only guy that's been sacked more times than Drake Maye is Cam Ward. Yeah, and I don't think it's because Drake Maye is playing bad. Like, I'm sure like Drake Maye's held onto the ball too long a couple times this season.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like a situation like Caleb Williams last year where it was like, dude, get rid of the fucking ball already. Like,
or
I don't think it's
this year.
I don't think it's like that. I just think that Drake Maye has a bad offensive line, and despite that, he's still putting up these great numbers and still winning these big games. But I can't give it to anybody other than Stafford right now, man. He is the best quarterback in the league this season.
Yeah, and he's finally a 500 quarterback. He's
good for him.
Yeah, finally. He's been there, 5 years? He's been there quite some time now, and he's finally at 500 for his career record. I bet Eli Manning is rolling around in bed right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Mahomes, they've lost some games they should not have lost. And if you're going to win MVP as a quarterback, you have
to lead your team to a top 2, 3 seed.
I just don't think you shouldn't have 2 or more games that like what happened that game, or like they like the Dolphins and Josh Allen. Like, I get divisional team, but like, come on.
But you got boat raced by Miami.
Yeah, and not only that, I think I saw on a podcast today the Bills, man, they haven't lost by double digits in like their last 50 or 60 games, and it's happened twice in the last month or something.
I think it happened one time last year, and it's twice in the last month this year.
Okay.
Like we did that podcast a couple of weeks ago about the disappointing teams, and Bills fans flooded the comment section after I said how disappointing they were. I'm just saying, like, there were real issues that I called out about Buffalo.
Receiver, so for that alone,
but there were real issues that I called out with Buffalo that some of the writing on this was on the wall. And I mean, that's just a different topic. Matthew Stafford, Drake Maye, those are your top 2 MVP candidates right now. And we're both leaning Stafford. I think the numbers for Stafford are a little bit more impressive. And I also think, and this isn't really like up to him. So maybe it sucks that it's being held against him. But you look at who Stafford's done it against,
I don't know if I can.
He's got to win over the Texans. He's got to win over the Colts. He's got to win over Baltimore, but obviously that was without Lamar.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you got to take that with a grain of salt, though, because these whack teams have beaten some good teams, and it's just like, I don't know if you can really take the strength of the schedule seriously this year.
To finish out the year, he's got 2 matchups left versus Seattle, a matchup versus the Buccaneers, and a matchup versus the Lions in some big spots for Stafford. And my thing is just if him and Drake Maye end up with the same record and similar stats, and I know that Stafford played harder teams, like, why would I not give the edge to Stafford there? And listen, don't get me wrong. There's a world where Seattle makes it so, Seattle wins the division. The Rams are the 5 seed. Philly's the 1 seed. And so are the Patriots. And now the MVP goes to Drake Maye. I think that would also be fair. But at the midway point of the season where we're at, give me Stafford.
Darnold is sneaky, though.
Darnold at 9-1 is kind of a sneaky bet.
It is sneaky. It kind of reminds me of the Baker season from last year. How everyone
Darnold just has like a little bit too many interceptions for my liking.
That was Baker. He had 16 last year, but he was top 3 in touchdown passes. And the thing is, like, without Darnold, man, like he's came in and he took Geno's spot, and their offense has skyrocketed ever since.
I think
And
some of that has to do with Kubiak too, but
it definitely is. It definitely is. But I mean, the fact that JT, man, it just sucks because, dude, I don't know what he could do.
Again,
if
the Colts were the 1 seed and he broke the touchdown record, how do you not give it to him? So I think like the second half of the year, a lot of things could change, and rightfully so. But with where we're at, man, and I'm looking at the Seahawks schedule, they obviously play the Rams twice. They play the Niners again in the last week of the season, in which the Niners should be as healthy as they'll be. They play the Colts. So they have some games left on their schedule too. Here's what I'll say. If you think that Seattle is going to beat the Rams this weekend, instead of taking Seattle to just win the game as an outright bet, I would bet Sam Darnold to win MVP, and your cash out will probably be more than your bet would have won if the Seahawks win that game. Because my thing is, if Seattle wins that game and they move into the 1 seed and he's got a head-to-head victory over Stafford, his MVP odds probably go up from 9-1 to at least like 5-6-1, meaning you're probably just placing essentially like a plus 250, plus 300 bet on the Seahawks to win that game, rather than right now they are plus 138. So you're like probably doubling what you're betting. Some weird math there on that one, but
yeah, we got time. Hold up, 36 minutes. There's 3 names, bro. I kind of want to talk about a little bit. So I heard you talk about Jalen Hurts potentially in the conversation.
Yeah.
Now
I don't. So he still could be, and at 25-1, I don't think it's the worst bet ever. But statistically, the passing game has to go way up. He's just nowhere close statistically right now to being MVP. Although he does, I still think he has the best touchdown to interception ratio in the league.
Really? What?
And if you account for total touchdowns?
Okay.
Because he's 16-1 in terms of I mean, it's still 16-1 passing, so that's still like a great ratio.
Like, what was your argument? That's what what did you text me that, or was that a tweet?
So I said, coming out the bye, I tweeted. I said, coming out the bye week, the Eagles play the Packers and the Lions. If the Eagles win both of those games, which I was predicting them to, so I said, I expect Jalen Hurts to be towards the top of MVP conversations in 2 weeks' time. And then last night we got 10-7 versus Green Bay, which like, don't get me wrong, I knew that both defenses were good. I didn't expect neither quarterback to throw for 200 yards and like only 1 touchdown. Jalen Hurts does have 21 total touchdowns on the year to only 1 interception. And it's 21-2 if you count the fumble that he lost, which is still like really, really elite stuff. He's got a 112 passer rating on the year. It's the best of his career. So I still think Jalen's playing really solid football. He's had a couple dud games. If you want to call the Packers game a dud one, I'm not really sure. That could have just been the first cold, good defenses. But the first game versus the Giants was a fucking disaster. So like that
was crazy.
You said 2 more names. Who else?
Justin Herbert. So for Herbert, that is interesting, bro. I know I was low on the Chargers, but
if they win that division, and we talked about Drake, I said earlier in terms of valuable, Drake May fits. Justin Herbert might fit the word valuable even more than Drake May.
And you know what? Without him, like, dude, they're down to their 4th string tackle. I mean, they're trading for first round bust tackles from the Saints.
Without Justin Herbert, do the Chargers have a win this year? I know that's crazy to say.
That's real talk. And you got to think, they've lost Hampton. They've lost their 2 starting tackles, 3 starting tackles.
So again, here are their wins this year. Kansas City, week 1, 27-21. Herbert was sensational. I don't think they win that game without Justin Herbert. The Raiders in week 2, they won 20-9. I think maybe because their defense forced Geno to throw like 4 picks that game, they might have won that one with a backup. The Broncos in week 3, 23-20. No. The Dolphins in week 6, 29-27. No. The Vikings on Thursday Night Football, 37-10. Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, the Titans 27-20 because the Titans had that pick six and then a
That
punt
was
return
stupid.
touchdown.
Yeah, that
I
was
think maybe without Justin Herbert, I mean, listen, I don't know if the backup throws the pick six
the
that Herbert
backup is
did,
Trey
but
Lance, I think. So
and then a Steelers game, the final score is 25-10, and I know you were there.
it's 25-3, bro.
I think but I think the story of that game was Justin Herbert outclassing Rodgers all night. So I don't know if they win that game with Trey Lance. Trey Lance against that Steelers defense. I mean, like
I
Justin
don't even
Herbert,
want to talk about
like
that
without Justin Herbert, the record is probably at best flipped to 3-7.
Yeah, and I get it. If you do that for any team, you can say that. But I'm just saying that he has to get consideration if they win 11 or 12 games.
And again, at 22-1, when you look at the stats right now, too, man, this might be a bet that's worth putting in.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's second in the NFL right now in passing yards, only to Daniel Jones at 2,610. So he's averaging 261 a game. The only thing with Herbert is the touchdown to interception ratio is 19-8. He's already got 8 picks. That's really tough.
Damn, I didn't know that.
But he is 3-0 in the division. What are they, 6-1 in the AFC this year? I think so.
Bro, he needs consideration. Like, he's winning. They're winning games.
He's worth talking about.
Yeah, his defense is okay, and the stats are there. But if he wins, if he can muster up 11 or 12 wins with this team, with all the injuries they have, and Hampton is going to come back in like 2 weeks, I think. So he'll have a good running. He'll have his running back again. But man, he has to be top 5.
The offensive line, as much as it got worse pass blocking, it has gotten a little bit better for run blocking.
Bro, the Steelers had 1 sack, I think.
They had 5.
Oh,
it's
5. They did not feel it. Oh, TJ Watt, there was a couple sacks in garbage time.
So that's like my concern for the Chargers a little bit too. If you're just going to be getting sacked like 4 or 5 times a game, how far can you really go? I don't know.
I mean,
Who's the last name you wanted to bring up?
And so my last name, this is not going to happen, but it's good to think about. It's crazy to think about. Lamar Jackson, when he's not on the Ravens versus when he's not playing versus when he's playing, bro, he is like, I get it. I get it.
Lamar would have to have he's 27th right now in passing yards. So he would have to and don't get me wrong, he's got a 15-1 touchdown to interception ratio though, and he's got a 127.1 passer rating.
Bro.
And the offense with him averages 30 points per game. I agree with you again.
It's not gonna happen.
We are verbatim taking the word about. Could it happen if they win out? If they got to 12-5, they'd have to. I think the only way for him to win it is honestly them to not lose a game the rest of the season, which I don't see happening. But at this point in the video, we're kind of just talking like shit to talk shit. They have left on the schedule a lot of winnable games. At Cleveland, win. Versus Jets, win. Versus Bengals, Joe Burrow might be back, but they swept him last year. Win.
Yeah.
Versus you guys,
twice.
Probably a win. At Bengals, probably a win. So that's 5 right there. I think there's a realistic shot that they are 9-5 going into the last 3 weeks of the year versus New England, at Green Bay, at Pittsburgh. That is a tough last 3 games. But if he won out on those, got to 12-5, and then all of a sudden they're a top 2 seed in the AFC, and those stats are Lamar Jackson 38.
It's going to have to be
if it's Lamar Jackson, because he's at 15 right now, and he's at 15. How many games did he miss? He missed 3, right?
So I think he missed so it was 3 weeks in a bye, so he missed a month, I believe.
Yeah, but he missed 3 games total.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. In that time, he has 15 touchdowns. Dude. That's roughly 3 a game. That's
including the rushing too?
So 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39. Him getting to 39 touchdowns if he averaged 3 passing touchdowns a game, which obviously is high. But if we're talking about
Henry too, so.
If we're talking about like a weird world where Lamar gets MVP, and there could be some games where he throws 2, some where he throws 4. Maybe he's got a big game where he throws 5 in there. And if he like only throws like 1 or 2 more picks and we get to the end of the season, they're 12-5, they're a top 2
Yeah.
seed. He's got a 38-3 touchdown interception ratio.
I don't think he needs to do all that, bro. I think, like you said, maybe lose a game, bro. I don't know, bro. But the fact that we've seen how bad the Ravens are without Lamar, and the fact that it's been so much drastic change when he's on the field,
He's only
like,
got 1 rushing touchdown this year, for the record.
okay, you like it's night and day, bro. And if he can win out, like, dude, he might be my MVP.
So you're
If he can
telling
win
me
out,
there's
he'll be my
and
MVP.
he's 30-1 right now. So maybe it's worth the scratch off ticket. You throw $10 on it and
It's
win
almost to the
300.
point where I wouldn't even care what the stats are at that point.
I mean, yeah, you throw
Like,
10 on it, you win 300. You throw 100 on it, you win 3,000. I don't know. Food for
yeah,
thought. I don't know who's got what kind of money watching, but
yeah. And then you had Baker MVP too, but that's
I had
probably
Baker.
the least likely.
I had Baker. I think he just got railed with injuries, man. Like
Yeah.
I think like they're still gonna win games and still gonna get to the playoffs, but I think like no Bucky Irving, no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, depending on all these rookie wide receivers, not really having a great run game behind them, it's just gonna hurt them. But I still liked my process for the Baker one. So 45 minutes. I think like the last 12 have just been bullshit MVP talk. But hey, man, that's what the pod's for, right? We appreciate your guys' support. As always, check out JaVon's links in the comment section down below. If you made it this far in the video, I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button. Free way to support the channel. Currently 2 subscribers away from 400. So you could be number 400 if you hit that mark. We will be back here again next Wednesday. Every single Wednesday on the channel, we do this double coverage podcast. I think what we're going to start doing is maybe open it up with some of like the more important news around the NFL and then just kind of talk about 2 or 3 or 4 topics. If there's any specific ways that you guys kind of want this podcast to go, definitely let us know. It's not going to be like a weekly predictions or specifically a weekly recap video. I think we're just going to kind of talk about some of the biggest storylines in the NFL and do some yapping, kind of, I'd imagine the way that we just dove into Lamar and how could he be the MVP, talk about some abstract topics like, hey, what's the playoff picture going to look like and stuff. And hey, man, there's only 2 months left of the NFL regular season. It's fucking flying by, but we appreciate your guys' support and we will catch you next time. Peace.
Yes, sir.